Let's answer the question, where does Eric Adams get his votes? So the first round of the Democratic primary on June 22nd, 2021. It's important to see that Eric Adams got 30% of the vote, 289,000 in the first round. So I guess that's the people that voted for him first, right? And you can see in yellow, it's mostly the Bronx and Brooklyn, parts of Brooklyn, and Queens, Southeast Queens. Now, where did Bed-Stuy vote? That's interesting. Bed-Stuy was very divided between Maya and Eric Adams. So that's interesting, right? Maya Wiley. These are the majorities in the election districts, right? So that was the first round, who your first choice was. The first choice here also, Andrew Yang got a lot of this area here, which is Hasidic Williamsburg, South Williamsburg. Interesting. So that was Yang, it appears, right? Let's just see. Wow, this app has some issues, but yeah, I think Yang, yes. So if we zoom back out, we're seeing the first round, right? Now, I'm a little surprised that Eric Adams lives in Bed-Stuy. It looks like he didn't even win his own election district where he theoretically lives, but maybe he did. It's very close here. If we zoom in on close to where he lives here, yeah, maybe he won. It was a toss-up between Eric Adams and Maya Wiley, this whole area. And the colors are not very good because some of Sean Donovan's colors are very similar to, looks like Sean Donovan didn't win anything. All right, so now let's go to round, there's all these rounds, which, let's just go to the last round, right? Who the heck cares about all these rounds? In the end, it was this. Eric Adams, 50%. Catherine Garcia, 49%. So that was very, very close. Extremely close. It was only off by like, holy smokes, only about 7,000 votes. So Eric Adams just won by a inch, right? And where did Eric Adams' votes come from? Same places. This Bronx, looks like the South Bronx and the Mount Vernon part right here. I don't know if you see that. And then Southeast Queens and also, oops, that's a mistake. Southeast Queens and East New York, obviously, and Canarsie. That's interesting, right? Because that's the heart of that Kings County Democrats, this Canarsie area. East New York, so they all came, so they do support Eric Adams, it looks like. And then this Catherine Garcia won all of Manhattan by majority? Wow, and all of Greenpoint, and all of, in the last round, right? All of Astoria and Ridgewood, she was the majority there. So this was a very divided election. Wow. And in Staten Island, Catherine Garcia won all of that too. How in the world? Except for the North Shore, which is, I think the income ratios are basically the lower income areas. This is not to cast anything. Seem to vote for Eric Adams, and the higher income areas seem to vote for Catherine Garcia. But so let's now look at the actual election, right? So if we go to the actual election, this is the general election, which was closer than anybody would have told me, look at this, Curtis Sliwa got 312,000 votes. That's 27% of the vote. Let's see where Curtis got his votes. He got it in the same places Catherine Garcia got votes. It's in the higher income areas, it appears. Except for, here's a difference. Canarsie, oh, no, I'm sorry. Canarsie still voted for Eric Adams. Yeah, but if we compare the two, let's compare this one. Yeah, see, it looks like Catherine Garcia's vote in this Bay Ridge area and South Brooklyn, Coney Island. Let's compare. It looks like Eric Adams won Coney Island, but not Bay Ridge and Bensonhurst and New Utrecht. So let's compare. See, it looks like Sliwa won New Utrecht and Bensonhurst, but not parts of Bay Ridge and not Coney Island. Why is that? Why would Catherine Garcia win? Well, the Rockaways, it makes sense. But Catherine Garcia did not win Coney Island, but they turn around and partially vote for Curtis Sliwa? That's interesting. So I guess Coney Island considers Eric Adams, at least this part of Coney Island, considers Eric Adams a better candidate than... What are they voting for? That's the question, right? If you compare them side by side, it's interesting that it's hard to see here because you can't zoom, but you see that difference in color, the blue versus very dark yellow. So the very dark yellow, see, there's blue and red here. There's blue and red here. And I guess they made the red Republican, which is good, and the blue. Oh, so they are following some kind of color scheming. So they made Eric Adams blue for Democrat and Curtis red for Republican. Now, some of this can be explained because there's pockets of different areas here. Like there's Hasidic Jewish areas here, and they vote for Curtis Sliwa. That's true. And even Crown Heights, there's a pocket of Curtis Sliwa voters. Now, New Utrecht, why did Coney Island vote for Eric Adams and also vote for... Oh, wait a second. Eric Adams is there. But parts of Coney Island voted for Curtis Sliwa. So this area out here is Seabright. You can even see it. Seagate, I think they call it. Right? But they voted for Curtis Sliwa. But look at here. They also voted for Eric Adams. Right? If you go in here, can we see the vote here? It must have been close because it's faded. I think I'm already looking at that. I don't know. This thing might be broken. Yeah, it is. It woke back up. Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit. There's Calvert Voss. Let's see here. Yeah, they voted for Eric Adams, 60%. 60%. It's almost consistent. 65%. But then if you go back here, I think you have to zoom in and zoom out, make it happy. It's got to get a certain level of... Yeah, so I guess they equate Eric Adams, but there is a divide there. So they equate our friend Eric Adams, but then they did not vote for him in the general election. That's interesting. Oh, maybe it's the Democrats versus who can generally vote. So maybe the voter turnout is higher here. I wish this thing would just wake up. Wake up. Okay, there it goes. It woke up. And now let's go back here. Maybe the voter turnout is higher here, like 152. That must mean that there's a lot of registered Republicans, because the registered Republicans cannot vote in the primary. See, the voter turnout is very small here. Yeah, that explains it. The number of Democrats out here in Seagate is very small. Or at least the turnout is very small. And then the number of registered Republicans is very high. Look at that, 152 votes. Because in the general election, there probably was no primary for the Republicans in that district or Seagate or even in all of Brooklyn. Maybe there was, who knows. But Joe Pepitone ran. Wow, he got 3 votes. Look at all these people that ran. Fernando Mateus, Save Our City, Catherine Rojas, all these, look at that. They're all, I guess, independent, but they have to have a party line. Humanity United. Raja Michael Flores, Joe Pepitone, C, conservative, so he's probably Conservative Party. I guess Libertarian Party got 0 votes. Empowerment, Lawbreaker, Outlaw Breaker, whatever that means. So yeah, there's a lot of people that end up on the ballot. But let's look at overall. This is how divided New York City is. There's pockets of Republican voting here. What area is this? What is this area right here? Queens, Ridgewood, Elmhurst. They voted majority Sliwa. Bayside, Bensonhurst. This looks like a protest vote. Little Neck, Douglaston, Middletown. I didn't know there was a Middletown. Throgs Neck, protest. Parts of the Bronx. All voted for Curtis Sliwa. Not Co-op City, but next to Co-op City. This area doesn't even have a name. Oh, it does. It's called a golf course, Pelham Bay Park. So these little outskirts and all of South Brooklyn, Bensonhurst, except for Canarsie, of course, because that's part of, and then Crown Heights, obviously, there's a pocket of Hasidic sect that are there. All of Rockaway, except for the lower. If you look at the demographics, I think this area would show up as lower income. They voted for Eric Adams. And I don't know how to get back to the full vote. I think you have to, somehow this app should be able to get out of this, but it doesn't do that. The point is they're all red here. All of Staten Island voted for Curtis Sliwa. Who knows where Curtis lives? He probably lives in Staten Island. So this is the summary of that previous election, and it's coming up again eventually next year. Peace out.